Hey everyone, excited to be back for this week's edition of Frequently Asked Questions for Commercial Real Estate. In today's video, what I wanted to do was share some of the top lessons that I learned from my first year in brokerage. Just to give you guys some color to this, I'm actually in my 2.5 year in brokerage. So my first year in brokerage was from July of 2019 to June of 2020, or June or July of 2020. So it was definitely a unique time to get into commercial real estate. But today I wanted to share some of the top lessons that I've learned. So if you yourself are currently in your first year in brokerage, at least you have something to go off, and maybe you can take some of the insights that I provide in this video and utilize it going forward to help you have a more successful career. So before we do that, I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, ensures more and more people can hear this message and learn about the many facets of commercial real estate. So now that you've done that, go ahead and like and subscribe below. Let's go ahead and dive right into this episode. All right, so as I said, my first year in brokerage, I actually got my real estate license in July of 2019, and I completed my first year in brokerage July of 2020. And there's quite a few lessons that I learned during that time. In today's video, we're going to go through, in my opinion, the top 4 lessons that I learned throughout this period of time. So the first and probably the most important lesson is to learn to develop your pipeline. Now, I did not come from a sales background. I'm an engineer by trade. I got into the software business where I acted as a developer and consultant. So coming into a fully commissioned and sales role was a completely different experience than what I was used to. And so I had to learn about the many ways that you can develop business for yourself. First being obviously the good old-fashioned cold calling, reaching out to business owners or owners of commercial property to see if they are interested in selling now or sometime down the line. That is an effective form of business development, and that's one that I utilize quite a bit, especially when I first started in my commercial real estate career. Second, and this is one that's been very effective for me, is postcards. I send postcards to owners of different commercial properties in town, advertising my services and saying if they would seeing if they would like a free property analysis. In which case, what I do is I do a comprehensive analysis of their property, give them a nice pamphlet that they can go off of, and then I also send them a copy of the book that I wrote this last year, which is before you sign that lease. And so that's a way for me to develop business and grow my pipeline. Third is to stop by meetups, in particular meetups where business owners and investors congregate. So, think about, commercial real estate investor meetups, chamber of commerce events. Any type of business event is something that you should be a regular at, and make sure that people know who you are and what you do on a regular basis. And then finally, one of the things that I think is also extremely important is to join different organizations, in particular for causes that you believe in. I'm a member of the Junior Achievement Young Professionals Board here locally in Louisville. I joined SIGEP, which is a fraternity that I was a part of in college. I'm on the board here locally for the chapter. I'm also part of various different other organizations that align with my value system. But through those affiliations, I've also met quite a few people, and I actually got an opportunity to work with one of the people that was on a board with me to be able to help them acquire a commercial property of their own. So that was another opportunity for me to be able to work with people that I actually enjoy hanging out with, and we share shared value. So number one is to develop your pipeline, and there's various different ways you can do that, which I just shared with you right now. Number 2 is to build your brand, and as a result of being able to build your brand, you're able to increase your pipeline as well. From a building brand perspective, what a lot of people, especially when they first start out, they're kind of hesitant about doing, because they're like, well, I don't know anything about commercial real estate, or I really don't know what to talk about. It's like, well, in reality, you're not going to know more than someone who's 20 years in the business. And I definitely don't claim to know anywhere near the amount as many of my peers that have been in the business for 20 plus years. But what you can do is document your experiences and document your learning throughout the process. And so, for example, if you can create a video like in the day of the life of a commercial agent, that could be a great form of content that people can engage in. Along with that, I create these frequently asked questions videos, which every week I answer a question that pertains to commercial real estate. This is the exact type of stuff that I do when I meet with clients on a regular basis. So this could be a unique opportunity for you to do that as well. And there's various different social mediums that you can target. My biggest are YouTube and LinkedIn. However, Facebook and TikTok and Instagram can also be phenomenal mediums for you. The main point that I would stress to you is stick with 1 or 2, and then be extremely consistent with those 1 or 2 or 3 social mediums. Do not just spray and pray for a couple weeks and then hope that a bunch of business comes your way, because that's not gonna happen. You have to be consistent on a weekly basis to produce content that eventually can turn into potential business. So that's number 2. Number 3, and this is something I learned, especially back even in my previous career, is it's okay not to know something. I think a lot of people try to put up a front like they're extremely confident and they know exactly what's going on a regular basis. That's not necessarily a skill that you need to have. What you need to be able to do is be humble enough to say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that particular question, but I'll go ahead and do research and then follow back up with you. And then in fact, follow back up with those individuals. I can't tell you how many times I've done that, especially in the first couple of years of my career, and people genuinely appreciate your humbleness to say you don't necessarily know something and you're not blowing smoke, and then going back and following up with them afterwards to be able to give them the answer that they were looking for. So again, it's okay not to know something, and don't feel afraid or ashamed that you don't know something right off the bat, because again, you are learning, you are growing, and hopefully 10, 15 years down the road, this is something that becomes second nature to you. And then finally, number 4, which is I think a message that a lot of people need to hear, especially when they're first getting started in anything really, is to give yourself some grace. Again, this can be a brutal profession. You're going to be rejected on a regular basis. You're going to be dealing with people who may or may not want to work with you. So you have to learn to give yourself some grace and understand that it's okay to struggle at first. My first year in the business, I made almost no money. I was on a draw with my company, and I think I didn't eclipse my draw until after the year, but I think in the total for the first year, if I were just strictly commission, it would have been, I think I would have made 15 grand, something like ridiculously low compared to all the effort that I was putting in. However, it's important to note that this will pass, right? You continue to put out effort, you continue to just try to be the best you possibly can be, and then over time, that continues to grow and expand. And remember why you're doing it. This is a business that can be extremely lucrative for you and your family. And my why is my family. My why is to make my family proud. My why is to make sure that I provide a great life for my future kids. So understand why you're doing it and give yourself some grace. So whenever you stumble and fall, you're able to get back up and try again. And then know that as long as you're persistent and you continue to learn, a decade from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, because again, this is a career, you're going to be glad that you listened to this video and hopefully can take some of the insights that you gained to your profession. So I hope you engaged some value from this video. I really appreciate all your support, and thank you all for all the comments and the subscriptions and the likes and everything of my videos. I really do appreciate everything that you do. If you are currently looking for commercial property here in Louisville, Kentucky, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or lease commercial property, feel free to give me a call. My number is 502-536-7315, or you can reach me via email at raphael@crisantigroup.com. Along with that, if you like this channel, again, I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and ensures more and more people can hear this message and learn about the many facets of commercial real estate. So thank you again all for tuning in and always tuning in every single week, and we'll see you all next time.